Hi everyone, this is Doc,
I'm Indigo Moon.
and today we're going to continue talking about the Akashic Records.
We're on the road to Cedar Falls, Iowa.
For another fair, and one of our fans has asked about the Akashic Record, and I believe the question was, why is it one reader, or Akashic Record reader, will come up with some information and someone comes up with different information?
Yeah, and is it possible for another reader to get information?
Sure.
And the answer is very much yes.
Oh yeah, without question.
Yeah, and sometimes we do find the same life, although I don't think that happens often.
Well, we have to keep in mind that as psychics, we follow a timeline. Now, as a Akashic Record reader, they look at what has already happened. And so it's a little bit different process, but yeah, we can all access the same information.
Yeah, and you guys have to remember that we live millions of lifetimes. And
Absolutely.
it's hard for us to
Absolutely.
conceive of that.
Yeah, it's hard to think that we've lived that many lifetimes, but we have to keep in mind that we don't just come back to Earth, as Indigo talks about in her soul form readings. We go back to different planets, different dimensions, and we experience different kinds of what we would call life forms.
Yeah, that's exactly why I call them soul forms.
Yeah.
Because it's not just human forms we take.
Yeah.
We take all kinds of forms on different planets, different universes, different dimensions, and things that we can't even conceive of. I mean, I come up with some stuff from my readings that I would have never ever dreamt of and never even seen in a movie or anything like that. So,
you know, it's entirely possible. I had a gentleman who wanted a past life reading, but he didn't want any readings about Earth. He wanted about other dimensions. And he was very, very surprised, as I was. One of his lifetimes, he just experienced being energy in a, if you will, a two-dimensional world. So we experience things in a lot of different forms.
yep. And celestial as well.
Absolutely, a celestial as well. And we have to keep in mind that just as an Akashic Record reader, as psychics, or as souls, your higher self or soul has a record of your totality. And so that's what we are all tapping into.
You know, the other thing I do want to bring up is this person was very unhappy with the reading that they got. And I think we have to remember that every reader tells a story differently. Some are better storytellers, some are not. Some are very just informational based. They have, you know, they're not going to give you any extras. They're not going to paint you a picture of what it was like. They're just going to tell you what you were and when you were.
Exactly. So, and we know with the Akashic Records, even as two psychics, you're going to get what Spirit feels is most important for you to understand or learn. And so if two Akashic Record readers give you different information, it's not that they're looking from a different book, they're just simply looking at different spots within the book to give you that information that Spirit says you need to know.
Yeah, but you're still going to get the information you need.
Exactly.
And it may not be what you want.
That's the important part.
It may not be what you want, but it is information that you need. And, you know, what I always find very interesting is that no matter where you are or what you're doing as a soul form, it always leads back to the life you're living here today. Exactly.
The soul keeps a record of everything that you've experienced, even in other dimensions. It's important for people to understand when they get a reading for, I know I can say for myself and for you, Indigo, when we give readings, we give what Spirit believes is necessary for you to have and understand. We don't tell you what you want to hear. And that's an important distinction between what we do, and there are other readers who will tell you what you want to hear. but the reality is we're all tapping into the same information.
Yep. So, and it's always, you can always take the information that other reader gave you and go to another reader, and they may be able to give you some more information.
And they may be able to give you some information that'll tie the two ends together.
Yeah, and that's sometimes more important than...
Yeah, very much so. And I know we've both experienced clients who at affairs will come to us and say, give me a reading. We give them a reading, and they look at us and they say, that's the same thing that this person said, and that person said, and that person said. And this is always, not only is it confirmation about how true that information is, it's Spirit's way of saying, listen, this is what's important.
Yeah, because when they say it 2, 3, 4, 5 times, this is really something you need to pay attention to.
Because they're trying to teach you something. And the reality is, every experience that we have here in life is an opportunity for us to learn.
Yep.
It's for the soul to learn.
What do you think a person should do when they are unhappy with a reading at a fair?
Well, I think certainly they should go to someone else and compare what one person said to the other person. And as you said, it may simply be a matter of that person, that first reader, not being a good storyteller. But it could also be that it's just simply was something they just didn't want to hear.
Well, it could also be a vibrational difference.
That's very
You aren't ready to accept the information from that person because of their vibration.
Exactly. Yeah, that's entirely possible. Yes.
So there's a lot of different reasons why you may be unhappy or unsatisfied and may not resonate with you at the time. And it can just be that they didn't give you enough information.
That's entirely true. And we also have to keep in mind that perhaps they gave you a snippet of information that may not resonate at the moment, but 2 or 3 weeks, 4 weeks down the road, all of a sudden it does resonate.
Yeah.
And so never discount what a reader says to you. It may not be what you wanted to hear, but try not to discount it, because it may take time for you to catch up with that information. So when we talk about Akashic Record readers, they're simply looking at different pages of the book, and that's why some readers may not resonate with each other.
And if you weren't happy, try going into a meditative state. Go to what that reader told you and see if you can find out some more information for yourself.
Exactly. You had the right to do that. You had the ability to do that.
It's kind of like your personal medical records.
Yeah, exactly.
You have the right to see what other doctors have written in your records.
Absolutely.
And so, it's the same thing. And yeah, it's a little trickier to get there, but you can do it through meditation and sometimes just asking Spirit, hey, I need to know more about this. Send me some more information.
Yeah,
and they will. And they definitely will. It may not be, 2 minutes after you put the request in, but
it may take a little while for that information to come to you, but most generally it will come to you, and you will actually experience you'll be told why that information was suddenly so it becomes important.
Now I have a question.
Mm-hmm.
You do past life regressions.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Can they access the Akashic Record by doing that through somebody like you?
Surely. Yeah. Absolutely. If you're going to go back in time and look at something, we can take you back to the Akashic Records, and you can go to the hall and access your information. We're just going back to, if you will, the total record of that individual. So it's no different than going back to a past life.
Yeah. Well, we had something interesting happen on our drive.
Yes.
And it does kind of go back to the Akashic Records, because it's a record of what happened. You had asked me, you wanted to regress me back to my very first gypsy life.
Yeah.
To see how I was scrying or divinating.
Yeah, it was very interesting.
Yeah, and I had a flash of me as a gypsy, and I was holding somebody's palm, and I pricked their palm and spread the blood over their palm, and that's how I was reading them.
Very, very interesting. Very cool. Very, very.
So we can all do this, and a memory can be sparked just like that, just through a very innocent conversation.
As I was telling Indigo, I was watching the national news. They were talking about Ukraine, and I immediately had a flashback of the late 1800s. I was female, but I was also a shaman, if you will. And there was some sort of thing, attack on a village or a proposed attack. We knew something was coming, and we simply put a spell on the village so the village was protected. And that came to me in just 2 seconds. I knew exactly what a lifetime I had spent. So the question is, can shamans or people in Ukraine who do energy work, can they get together and collectively create a bubble of protection over areas?
They can.
Yep.
They can, just like the American Indians do rain dances.
Exactly.
And they can create rain over that area.
Or the ghost dance that they did. And so
George Norrie, do you know who George Norrie is?
No, I do not know.
Okay, he's a radio host on, I don't remember what channel he's on, but he's a nighttime radio host, and he does paranormal.
Yes, I know who you're talking about.
He does
now.
paranormal, ghosts. Yes. But anyway, a couple of years ago, he had put out a plight for the shamans, the American Indians. There was a drought somewhere in the United States. I think it was down in Arizona, Texas area, whatever. Well, anyway, all these people got together to do that. Well, they had gotten so much rain after that, he literally had to tell people to stop doing whatever it was that they were doing. It was too much rain. Yeah. So yes, people can influence over different areas.
They certainly can.
But what I would like to know, especially in Ukraine, is how much blowback there is from people around them, from government officials, from, because people are still scared of witches, magic.
Magic. But being of Slavic descent myself, there is a large tradition of witchcraft, shamanism throughout all of those in Eastern Europe. So, but we also have to keep in mind that you can't change a country's karma.
No.
You can't change that. So it is possible for a group of shamans, and we have to understand shaman does not mean it's Native American. Every country has had their own brand of shamanism, and so if those individuals get together, work together collectively to create a change or an atmosphere, they can change the course. They can easily change the course of the war.
And a shaman is just somebody who can yield energy.
Exactly.
And yield it in a way to, usually they are to heal.
To heal.
But it can be healing the earth.
Exactly.
It doesn't have to be a person. It can be the earth, but they are always a healer.
Yeah, exactly. The ancient Druids always taught that no matter what you took from the land, you had to give something back to it to help heal it. Mm-hmm. So, and most shamans will tell you the same thing. Yeah. So,
well, I hope that helped to our viewer that had the question. And if you have any other questions, or if you need us to address something else, just let us know. Anybody else, if you have comments on any of our videos, want us to talk about anything, again, just drop us a comment.
Drop us a comment. Please subscribe and share. If you enjoyed this video, please share it with others.
And like it.
And like it. Definitely like it. So I think that we're done for the time.
Like I said, we're on our way to Cedar Rapids. We'll see you all later.
All right. Take care now.
Bye.
Bye-bye.